but yeah, lots of stunts in James Bond, as you know. It's like you was emulating the two-wheel skiing car stunt with the, Diamonds Forever. Yeah. Well, Timothy Dalton's second outing, License to Kill. He does it with a tanker full of fuel. You what? And that brings us to our challenge. Why not? So, as you know, this is our challenge, and this is our not-so time racing driver. Now, if you don't know the rules, obviously I'm going to easily explain it, and if you have seen this, you already know. It's a timed trial contest. Now, we all know that you're watching this classic game, GTA 5. Now, if you're very familiar with the game, it has a very epic, dangerous road, you may notice, and obviously, as you can gather, the Argin is driving very fast because it's a timed trial. Usually, when we're doing this challenge, we have a little clock what goes on the edge of the screen telling you how fast the game's going to do it. But for the reasons, we are going to be playing the audio for Captain Gorgeous on Casino Royale. Alright, so you're going to hear the humble beginnings of James Bond to get you maybe into that spirit of James Bond.
Chapter 1. The Secret Agent. The scent and smoke and sweat of a casino are nauseating at 3 in the morning. Then the soul erosion produced by high gambling, a compost of greed and fear and nervous tension, becomes unbearable, and the senses awake and revolt from it. James Bond suddenly knew that he was tired. He always knew when his body or his mind had had enough, and he always acted on the knowledge. This helped him to avoid staleness and the sensual bluntness that breeds mistakes. He shifted himself unobtrusively away from the roulette he had been playing, and went to stand for a moment at the brass rail which surrounded breast-high the top table in the salle privée. Le Chiffre was still playing, and still, apparently, winning. There was an untidy pile of flecked 100 plaques in front of him. In the shadow of his thick left arm there nestled a discreet stack of the big yellow ones, worth £500,000 each. Bond watched the curious, impressive profile for a time, and then he shrugged his shoulders to lighten his thoughts and moved away. The barrier surrounding the case comes as high as your chin, and the caissier, who is generally nothing more than a minor bank clerk, sits on a stool and dips into his piles of notes and plaques. These are arranged on shelves. They are on a level behind the protecting barrier with your groin. The cashier has a coche and a gun to protect him.
So, Captain Gorgeous, you found that quite interesting. Not as interesting as such as our game, getting our vehicle very, very confused with the James Bond, submarine car. Right. So we're moving on with Captain Know-It-All's challenge now. Well, yes, and this is the bit where I should be explaining now. So, as you all know, that I'm driving a tanker on the most dangerous road, and you may notice there's no point having a clock telling me the timer because the GIMP has crashed. So the best thing for me to do is to see how far I can get further against the GIMP. So, further ado, it'd be nice to just listen to a bit more of Casino Royale.
The cashier has a coche and a gun to protect him, and to heave over the barrier and steal some notes, and then walk back and get out of the casino through the passages and doors would be impossible. And the cashiers generally work in pairs. Bond reflected on the problem as he collected the sheaf of 100,000 and then the sheaves of 10,000 franc notes. With another part of his mind, he had a vision of tomorrow's regular morning meeting of the casino committee. Monsieur Le Chiffre made 2 million. He played his usual game. Miss Fairchild made $1 million in an hour and then left. She executed 3 bancos of Monsieur Le Chiffre within an hour and then left. She played with coolness. Monsieur le Vicomte de Valorin made 1 million too with roulette. He was playing the maximum on the first and last dozens. He was lucky. Then the Englishman, Mr. Bond, increased his winnings to exactly 3 million over the 2 days. He was playing a progressive system on red at table 5. Duclos, the chef de partie, has the details. It seems that he is persevering and plays...
So I'll give it your stat, Mr. Captain Know-It-All then. Yes, I did actually get stuck, so yeah, I'm not very good at doing the challenge. So, obviously, we move on to Captain Gorgeous.
Yes, so it's my turn with the actual tanker, and as you all well know, that I'm hoping that I can do the distance of the most dangerous road, and obviously, well introducing myself to drive the tanker. So I'm getting it, as you know, but obviously I want to continue listening to the story of Casino Royale.
He has luck. His nerves seem good. On the soirée, the chemin de fer 1X, the baccarat 1Y, and the roulette 1Z. Le Boule, which was again badly frequented, still makes its expenses. Merci, Monsieur Xavier. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Or something like that, thought Bond as he pushed his way through the swing doors of the Salle Privé, and nodded to the bored man in evening clothes, whose job it is to bar your entry and your exit with the electric flip switch which can lock the doors at any hint of trouble. And the casino committee would balance its books and break up to its homes or cafes for lunch. As for robbing the caisse, in which Bond himself was not personally concerned but only interested, he reflected that it would take 10 good men, that they would certainly have to kill 1 or 2 employees, and that anyway you probably couldn't find 10 non-squeal killers in France, or in any other country, for the matter of that. As he gave 1,000 francs to the vestiaire and walked down the steps of the casino, Bond made up his mind that Le Chiffre would in no circumstances try to rob the case, and he put the contingency out of his mind. Instead, he explored his present physical sensations. He felt the dry, uncomfortable gravel under his evening shoes, the bad, harsh taste in his mouth, and a slight sweat under his arms. He could feel his eyes filling their sockets. The front of his face...
Well, that was quite interesting, but that's like you're suffering the same incident as well, aren't you, Captain Gorgeous?
Well, yes, but in the rules of driving these trucks with trailers, if your trailer comes off, you've got to make sure that you've got it hitched back on. I mean, obviously if I didn't have a trailer I could easily get up there, but obviously I'm trying to get round to the trailer.
Well, it looks like you made a mess of that. So, obviously, it's read it and weep, because it's me, obviously. So, as you all know, I'm giving a little, a demonstration how you really gonna do this, right? So, first thing you want to do when you're doing this, right, is make sure that the tanker is empty.
What?
Yeah, you got to make sure your tanker's empty, because if you're trying to get there on the full tank, it's too heavy.
But what about the rules?
Well, yeah, the rules meaning that it had to be full. That's it. Well, did you pay attention about the rules? Because I didn't notice this. Now, look at the ease of me getting up there, right? I'm going up there with quite a bit of speed, and it makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
But there's a little slight snag, I would say. I mean, obviously, we are not a heavy load on my tanker, meaning that my vehicle is very quite light, right? So it makes it very awkward when I start going downhill. And as you know, on this most treacherous and dangerous road, it's quite, very dangerous and very epic, scary.
Right, so this is where you go. You're not doing that, are you?
Well, I'm a lot further than you two.
Well, yeah, cheating.
It didn't say in the rules, did it? Even like in the movie Bond, you know very well that, License to Kill, James Bond enters it. Yeah, but that's because it was getting shot with holes and all that, wasn't it? Well, yeah, and obviously I had a bit of a problem there, because like I said, with it being live, obviously it's vulnerable that I crash. But if I get back up there and hitch the trailer back on, but unfortunately the trailer is in mainstay up on bottom there. So obviously, as you all noticed, everybody, there was no point carrying on doing it. So yeah, all three of us failed the challenge. So what did you think of that?